biggest collection of single-seat racing cars in the world. And there's really something here for everybody. For the casual visitor, there are the cars driven by the pantheon of British motor racing heroes like Moss and Clark and Hill and Stewart. For the enthusiast, there's really the whole technical development of the post-war Formula One car laid out before you, as well as some fine cars from the golden age of motoring in the 30s, like this big, fascinating Alfa that won the second Donington Grand Prix in 36, recently acquired and, as you can see, is yet unrestored. We can really only give you a flavour of the place. The problem is where to start. In the 1950s, Stirling Moss drove and won in everything. Ferraris and Maseratis, Mercedes and Jaguars and the rest, and 4 times he was runner-up in the World Championship. So he was really at the peak of his skills when in 1960 he climbed into this car, the 2.5-litre Coventry Climax-powered Lotus 18, Colin Chapman's first rear-engine Grand Prix car. Not particularly pretty. Stirling himself described it as a biscuit box and said it was typically Lotus, quick but fragile, but immediately it showed its potential. In 60 he won at Monaco in the US, in 61 he won at Monaco again and in Germany. In 62 in April at Goodwood, in the Lotus 1821, he had that terrible crash and his racing career was over. In that same year, Graham Hill, in this car, the famous stack-pipe BRM, not only grabbed his first Grand Prix win ever, but he went on to clinch his first World Championship title. And BRM won their first and last Constructors' title. It was really a make-or-break year for them. They'd had 14 lean years with only 1 Grand Prix victory. The engine was a new and very expensive V8 1.5-litre, called the stack-pipe because of these flamboyant megaphone exhausts at the back end. They regularly fell off during races, so they were soon replaced, but the name stuck. In the following year, 63, Graham Hill went on to win at Monaco, his first of 5 wins, but he was just pipped for the championship title by a determined young Scot, Jim Clark. This was the car that was driven by Jim Clark between 63 and 65 when he was at the height of his powers and winning everything in sight. And the car, the Lotus 25, designed by Mr. Innovation himself, Colin Chapman, represents a genuine revolution in racing car design, the prototype, if you like, of all subsequent Grand Prix cars, because he dispensed with a separate chassis and the car's body shell, with its stressed aluminium skin, became the chassis, the core of the car's strength, and it was brilliantly successful. Powered by the immensely reliable Coventry Climax engine, it carried Clark to his 63 championship win. He just missed in 64, won again in 65, but Lotus went on to win no less than 6 Constructors' Championships in the next 10 years. A fellow Scot, Jackie Stewart, was just 3 years into his Formula One career when Jimmy Clark was killed at Hockenheim in 1968. And the immense success of Jackie Stewart's racing career was linked inextricably to the genius of Ken Tyrrell. This particular Tyrrell 003 must be one of the most successful Formula One racing cars of all time, because driving it in 71 and 72, Stewart dominated the world circuits and won no less than 8 Grand Prix in it. But in just 5 short years, from 69 to 73, he racked up that remarkable record of 3 World Championship wins and less than 27 Grand Prix wins, a number only bettered by Prost and equalled by Ayrton Senna just 10 days ago in Phoenix. Now, to win a World Championship must be the pinnacle of every racing driver's ambition, but to win it in your own car, that's really something else. That's what Jack Brabham did in this BT20 1967. What's more, it was his 3rd World Championship. 16 years later, another Brabham won the championship, this time a very different car driven by Nelson Piquet and powered by a little 4-cylinder BMW engine. Little perhaps, but it churns out around 1,000 brake horsepower with a little bit of help from its substantial turbocharger.